Hello and welcome back to the Join Dota League Season 3 here on HeflaTV 2. Into game number 2 we go as Tengen Gaming are one win already in this best of 3 series in the quarterfinals of the Join Dota League Season 3 America. The house is down in game number 1. They allowed the Medusa as well as the Silencer to farm maybe a little bit too much, or at least that's what I think. Well, I'm Grandisveen. I'm going to be joined once again by Mike Loris. Hopefully he'll stick through the whole series, but either way, he's here for game number 2.
So hoping Tengen make this a quick one, but Centaur going the way of houses down this game is going to put the aggression in their hands instead. Centaur did a lot of work last game. It's easy to say that Silencer, Medusa were the stars of the show, but really everyone from Tengen, they bought the space for all those other heroes to get all of that outrageous farm. And the Witch Doctor had some pretty sick plays, and everyone from Tengen really firing off on all cylinders. That being said, this is going to be on a server that cooperates more for the houses down than Tengen as we move from US East over to Brazil. But hopefully for Tengen, it won't really matter that much. You really hate to see ping issues matter, and I think that last lasso might have been a ping issue. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's more or less just a misclick. I'm not even sure if ping would really affect it all that much. Either way, last game, Centaur, the shoes are pretty big to fill for the houses down, as it was rare to see anything less than a 2-hero hoof stomp, and consistently 3 and 4 heroes were caught. It might as well have been a Ravage in most cases, so I don't know. Medusa picked up again by Tengen Gaming, really highly prioritizing this hero, and maybe we'll see a little bit more Medusa in the meta, but honestly, I don't think it's worth picking up this early on.
Radiant's ban.
Yeah, she's a strong hero and everything. Tengen showed it off last game, how powerful she could actually be. But at the same time, she was only that powerful because the house is down kind of let her farm to her heart's content. And when you let a Medusa have that much free space, you're kind of asking to lose the game. So they're going to go with what works, which is, you can't really blame them. They came off a victory off this hero. You could kind of assume that the second game is going to be going kind of the same way, but the house is down. I'm sure they know what went wrong in the last game, so they're going to be playing to make sure that this Medusa has a much worse time. And if you shut down this Medusa at all, if you pick up like something like a Nyx Assassin or even an Anti-Mage, then suddenly Medusa doesn't become a terrifying hero anymore.
Yeah. Scarlet Mage and Centaur Warner already in and of themselves have some decent tools to deal with the Medusa. Just a lot of burst damage from those two. Ancient Steel amplifying Double Edge as well as the Scarlet Mage Mystic Flare are pretty devastating if you're able to catch a Medusa out. And before she has a couple of big items, or at least one big item, under her belt, the Medusa can't really do much up against that combination. If they do go for an anti-mage, like you said, a really great counter towards Medusa is eating through the mana is one great way to deal with Medusa's natural tankiness. If you just look at the raw HP stat, it's not that great, and I don't know, I'd love to see me some anti-mage. Another carry here that we don't get to see all that much. Next bans are looking pretty familiar, or similar, rather, to the first game. Invoker is going to be banned up by Tengen Gaming. Silencer, Wraith King aren't going to be available for them to take up this time around. They worked well last game, but I'm not sure if they really were warranted. Definitely not the biggest players in the game. The Silencer had his moments. Meepo, again, going to be banned out. Don't want to give that one away to Jublue, and I can definitely respect that.
Yeah, and I think Tengen are going to be doing their due diligence, making sure that you don't give the largest threat possible to the enemy team. Even though with Earthshaker Medusa, the anti-Meepo tools are pretty high in favor of Tengen, it's a little bit too much of a risk. So they're going to play this one a little bit slower, a little bit safer, and just kick out the Meepo while they can. Lots of respect bans in this particular ban phase. Invoker was banned out last time as well. And then Silencer Wraith King really just tore up the game for Tengen. So after this Medusa Earthshaker opening, I expect to see a little bit more of a defensive play coming out for them, or they could just go for a Bat Rider of their own and try to do what the houses down were doing last game, but ultimately they failed to do.
Yeah, Earthshaker could go in either direction. Defensive visuals are great at keeping your Medusa alive, although not offering much range stress, or any range stress really, to the offlaner, bar maybe a little bit of visual damage. It's negligible. They will go for the Witch Doctor, and last game their Witch Doctor played pretty well. The heroes are kind of being shuffled around in this game number 2. All these heroes were seen last game, although not in the same team. The house is down. They're going to change things up with a Wisp.
Huh. So with this Wisp, it doesn't exactly have to be a Tiny, as good as Wisp Tiny is. Certainly against what Tengen have, going for something like a CK or going for even more unorthodox is possible. But Tengen, they have okay counters for the Wisp. They have a lot of stuns, and Witch Doctor is already a fantastic one. Now they pick up a Nature's Prophet. So Tengen are going to be playing this one, it seems like, pretty aggressively. I think if ever there was a game where you go null talismans, this is probably going to be it. Try to just constantly gank the houses down and then shut them down. But it's
Ooh.
the PA that the THD side picks up. Wisp Phantom Assassin is actually pretty legit.
Yeah, it definitely is. Overcharge on PA makes her incredibly tanky, as well as making her hit like a truck. I was half hoping for a Sven coming out from the houses down, but we're not going to see that. I don't know, Phantom Assassin definitely could work out. Another carry hero that, I don't know,
5 seconds.
bar your off game every once in a while, just really doesn't see that much play. The evasion is going to be incredibly useful. Eventually, Medusa is going to consider an MKB, but presumably not until she gets, like, Manta Scotty up. Or just something to tank, maybe even a Lincoln Sphere. But either way, I can definitely see this Phantom Assassin working out for them. They need to play aggressively once they get the level 6 on the IO, but Phantom Assassin definitely can jump onto an enemy hero and burst them down if the crits are in your favor.
And it'll be a hero that's actually capable of doing that same thing to Medusa. Keeping vision on the Nature's Prophet with the daggers and then jumping in is going to make escaping for him very hard. THD, they go for Wisp combination. Usually those are a little bit more reserved. You want to get your Wisp a little bit more levels, get his relocate up, get overcharge up to a high level. But Wisp PA, they're, as far as Wisp combinations are concerned, they could go off very, very early on. And they could very easily kill off a couple of these Tengen heroes. Nature's Prophet, though he is capable of doing a lot of damage, has a lot of utility, is fairly soft once you jump on him. And if the Wisp and Phantom Assassin jump on him, or just the Centaur with the Scarith Mage to help, I don't see the Tengen Gaming heroes living for very long, because none of their heroes are really tanky, unless Medusa gets a lot of farm and a lot of space, which I'm pretty sure the Houses Down aren't going to let happen again.
Yeah. There's going to be a little bit of a lull in the action for the Houses Down the early portions, as Scarith Mage and Io can't really do that much as far as setting up kills, and as long as Tengen Gaming don't play over-aggressive, they shouldn't die. But once you get your Blink Dagger and your Centaur and level 6 on your Wisp, then it's game time for the Houses Down. At that point, they could pretty much assassinate anybody on the map with just that global presence for the Centaur blinking, as well as the relocate. Morphling. Holy cannoli, Tengen Gaming, if they can get this game to last 60 minutes, I think they've won. There's just not any other team composition that's going to compete up against a Medusa Nature's Prophet Morphling late game. But then again, well, their lockdown's pretty lackluster, and there's going to be a large time during the game where the Houses Down are just going to have more fighting potential than Tengen. I don't like this Morphling pick at all.
I'm assuming it's going to be the mid pick for Tengen, and predicting a Phantom Assassin Wisp dual lane, it's not a terrible way to go. It is incredibly greedy, though. This entire lineup for Tengen, with the exception of their supports who could work on a budget, who usually work off of a budget, are going to need quite a bit of space. Nature's Prophet could fight early, but he can't exactly contribute that much as far as other when you compare him to other heroes. Now a Storm Spirit as the last pick for THD. They've gone pretty deep in shutting down the Nature's Prophet and the Morphling both, so this is going to be a very aggressively slanted lineup that has it down, and Tengen Gaming, they're going to be playing it super defensively. The question is, can Tengen Gaming turtle this one out? I don't know if they can. They're really lacking early game damage.
They really are. Storm Spirit, a natural Orchid Carrier of Silence coming up from the Skyrath Mage as well, is going to make Morphling's life a pain. Even if he has the Lincoln Spirit, it's not guaranteed. Stifling Dagger, one of the best tools to pop it, and then you could just go ahead and straight up silence them, 4 staffs, anything. Yeah. I don't know, Tengen Gaming, I'm not sure how they're going to make that space. If they get a really good early game and just outright outplay the Houses Down in their individual lanes, they could have a really good time, but if they don't do that on even footing, come about 10 minutes, 15 minutes into the game, the Houses Down are going to be kings of the court, and then after that, it's BKB for Phantom Assassin, Orchid for Storm Spirit, maybe even just straight damage for the PA, and they'll pretty much have the time of their lives, unless Tengen are already off to a good start. This early game is going to be crucial for them, despite them wanting to play passively. Well, that said, into the draft we're going to go, or rather into the game after the draft, with Lopoza handling the Scarth Mage. Your support's going to be our Wisp, played by Vestius, who will be partnered up by a stand-in, Moob Alameo, playing on that Phantom Assassin. Mid-Storm Spirit going to be handled by Yuka, and offlane will be Centaur, played by Jubilu. And I'm not sure if it was like this last game, but he's now tagged as Never Forget. Maybe a throwback to that Batrider lasso.
I'm pretty sure
I think it was from last game, but we're never forgetting that lasso either way.
Yeah, we're not going to let him. And we see Tengen, sneaky, going into the Roshan pit at level 1. Okay, well, they have Voodoo Restoration, they have Treants, they don't really have anything outside of that. They don't even have, oh, they do have a Ring of Basilius, so this is going to be pretty safe from Tengen. If I was the houses down, I wouldn't even consider the enemy team going for Roshan within the first 10 minutes of the game, let alone level 1. This is the kind of Hail Mary that might turn out very well for Tengen, or it could be really terrible, because the Phantom Assassin and Scarth Mage are both waiting on the outer ends, and now they see Shiro shuffling back and forth, but PA is going to get separated from her allies. Now the Fissure is going to stun only the Phantom Assassin. There's no follow-up because Voodoo Restoration has been taken level 1. And that's going to be a pretty dead attempt from Tengen. Going back in is going to be suicidal. I think they have to be okay with the fact they didn't get crashed. They're going to throw out more snakes and stuff like that. Moob's going to find himself a haste rune, now go strong onto Bartlett. Another Fissure is cooling down for Tunerla. A good block can secure a kill on this PA, possibly. But Tengen, they don't actually commit that much. Their level 1 skills are going to be not the worst, but not the best either. Especially the Voodoo Restoration level 1, but all in all, they didn't actually invest that much into it. It was just a smoke. It was just one Treant summon. So overall, I think they're going to be feeling okay, pretty okay about this game.
I think so as well, although I'm not sure if they're aware, but I think the bug still stands where the Roshan Slam are visible through fog, so if THD even had an inkling of assuming they go for that early Roshan, they'd know about it. And I'm not sure if that played an impact at all, but it very well could have.
Yeah, maybe it was just the fact that Tengen don't exactly have a good Roshing lineup. It is possible to Rosh with almost any lineup, assuming you have enough salves and stuff like that. Fortunately for Tengen, they didn't use any, but really the only hero that they have that is good against Roshan is Nature's Prophet, and having those 2 Treants is helpful, but definitely not enough in order to contribute the damage in order to kill off that big guy. So it was awfully bold from Tengen. Throwing out a Hail Mary this early in the game is, it takes some balls, but it's ultimately not going to set them back too much, as they're going to settle into their lanes. Rhinoob this time is going to be going up against Jubilu. This is actually not a great lane for Medusa. Again, she's going to suffer low damage problem, but Yuka in the mid lane is going to get hit with a Fissure. He's going to turn around with the bottle and put a lot of damage back onto Noobs R Us. Tunerla is turning around to fight, but Noobs R Us taking quite a bit of damage. Double Static Remnant's going to shock down Tunerla, and they're both going to take quite a bit of damage, but Yuka crucially survives. The bottle is empty, but it's going to be refilled very shortly.
And the Morphling's completely tapped out of regen, and Noobs also needs to be careful. If that was a static remnant charge from Yuka, that would have been a kill. Fissure's going to block him inside the creeps, and Yuka's taking a lot of damage, although there's no waveform mana coming out from the Morphling. I think Yuka's going to be safe, but he is going to be punched down by the Earthshaker. Tunerla putting a little bit of hurt into him, although the movement speed, it is going to be in the favor of the Earthshaker, but the Invis Rune is going to save THD. No, or will it? The bottle's going to come out from Yuka after picking up the Invis Rune, and Yuka should be completely safe, and Tunerla needs to be careful. He might be able to turn on this. Tunerla's going to eat the static charge number 1. Number 2 is going to come out and slow them down. Witch Doctor comes through in a very awkward engagement in mid lane, if you can even call it that. Just both teams trading a couple of punches. Leaving the Medusa solo versus the Centaur isn't going to be that great for the Medusa, but more than anything, secures Centaur a level 3 as well as his early boots.
2 sentry wards used, and I don't think those sentries were going to be used for much of anything else, so I guess denying the Storm Spirit a free bottle drink is going to be okay for the Earthshaker, because honestly he wasn't going to get anything done anyway. So overall, Storm Spirit forced to return back to the base. Much needed free time for the Morphling to try to get his bottle up, but here comes Yuka back into the lane with a full bottle and level 3. This Morphling is not having a great time. He has 9 CS, but he desperately needs a bottle in this matchup, especially since Storm Spirit has already gotten so much damage on him for free. Also, bottom lane is doing absolutely terribly for Tengen. Nature's Prophet, only level 1, just now going to get some experience, but these 3 heroes playing very aggressively, and really Nature's Prophet can't really do much against this, so Nature's Prophet is getting completely shut down, whereas Centaur is having a very good time.
Yeah, Railgun going for the Basilius first has already forced his TP out, and he might still fall. No, not enough damage. The Wisp Orbs, had they been out earlier, Vesius might have been able to secure that kill, but still, with no regen after going for the Basilius, Nature's Prophet couldn't do anything. Phantom Assassin dropped pretty low, but has a salve and a Wisp to keep herself safe.
So 2 of the 3 lanes are losing pretty handily for Tengen, and the 3rd lane, it's relatively even. This is pretty much what Tengen were trying to avoid by going for that level 1 Roshan, placing all these sentry wards and trying to kill off the Storm Spirit. Taking some sort of advantage early on is going to be crucial for Tengen, but because their lanes are just not holding up, and if they continue to not hold up as they are right now, then it's going to be even worse than moving forward. Bartlett's going to run to Jubilu over in the North Rune area. He's going to take a Hoof Stomp. Double Edge is available, level 2, and I think Bartlett might be the first blood right now. He's going to slip away from the Centaur, and there's not enough range for Yuka to get the slow out of it. There it is. Double Edge is going to get the kill, and yeah, Bartlett's going to go down. Earthshaker also very low, although he's going to run away. Looks like he had a little bit of a contestant for the haste rune down on bottom, but It is first blood going the Houses Down's way, and that's kind of to be expected with the greedy lineups that Tengen had picked up. But it's just really so terrible for them this early on. They should be at a pretty big disadvantage, and they are with the golden experience. Not that much, but still, it's enough.
Yep. The Witch Doctor was the one to get caught out. In the meantime, Tunurlo was being chased down by the Scarth Mage, escaping with 20 HP or thereabouts. Had the Haste Rune spawned down bottom for him, he would have escaped, but the Witch Doctor wouldn't have, so either way, THD getting the first blood, despite the Rune Lock being in the Earthshaker's favor. Jubilu under tower getting some good experience, and this Blink Dagger for the Centaur is actually going to count at very decent timing, in fact going for an Orb of Venom on Jubilu. Up against the Medusa, you can put a decent amount of harass, and if you're left 1v1, it's not the worst choice, although I think just going for Tranquil Boots or Blink is probably your higher priorities. Railgun trying to TP out, will he be able to make it? He will. Another close scrape for Railgun in the bottom lane. TP can't be cancelled by anything in this bottom lane. Bar the silence from the Scarth Mage, and he's not level 3.
So fortunately for Tengen, they're not dying as many times as they really could be, as Wisp and Phantom Assassin, without the crits, are going to be putting out relatively low amounts of damage. And the Niche Prof with Ring of Basilius armor is going to be fine to survive, as Morphling actually gets a kill on the Storm Spirit. Came just to see the fissure, but I didn't see the Morphling going to town on that Storm Spirit. A much needed kill for both the Morphling and Tengen in general. Bottle is going to help stabilize the Morphling by such a huge amount, but it's not going to redeem this lane in its entirety. In fact, all the lanes are still going pretty poorly for Tengen overall, and especially it's going to go worse as the Medusa up on top lane, potentially no trouble. She does have Stone Gaze, so I don't think she's going to go down here. In fact, she wants to turn around. Cast going to be thrown onto Jubilu. Will bounce down to Leposa and then back up. Not going to hit Jubilu again, and it looks like no one's going to be turned to stone today. Both Leposa and Jubilu get to survive, although really they were trying to get the kill on Medusa, and they didn't even get close to that.
Yeah, I don't know. They committed the mana from the Centaur, and that was about it. So it's still not a bad trade, I suppose, and he's not going to have a lot of mana to work with anyway, if the Mystic Snakes come out from Medusa, and they will. I don't know. It's still going in the favor of THD, especially since their Phantom Assassin has complete free farm. 36 last hits here at 6.5 minutes, and you can't really ask for more. From Moob Alameo, yeah, the Nature's Prophet just hasn't had an impact at all. Level 4 finally is currently TPing up towards top as the Fissure comes out onto the Scarth Mage, but they're just caught on the wrong side, but so is the Centaur. He's in the wrong neighborhood. Sprout comes through, Jubilu going to be able to eat through it. I'm not sure if he had a Tango, I believe that's what he had. And now he's running down towards the south. He has enough movement speed, even though his Tranquil Boots are broken in order to escape here, and Jubilu should be fine. Nothing else to follow it up. The Medusa was kind of off in her own little world, and that fight kind of broke up into two different parts, benefiting the Centaur. He's able to survive. 1-1 is still our kill score.
That was kind of greedy from Tengen. They tried to go first for the Scarth Mage, but instead they just decided not to go for the Centaur, and that Centaur was able to survive as he was not the target of focus. Scarth Mage was on the right side of the fissure, so he escaped as well. They could have gotten one kill very safely if they focused Centaur. Instead, they tried to go for both, and that's going to cost them in the fact that they get neither. Railgun could have definitely used that experience and the gold from that kill or assist or whatever, but now he's back onto the bottom lane. He had to work the hard way to get down there as he did walk. He does a teleport again to bail himself out, but at a certain point, teleporting out from this combination is not going to happen. So Railgun, he really needed something to happen, and that kill, maybe even two on the top lane, would have been it.
Yep, tier 1 tower down in bottom is going to fall very low. They have a glyph to potentially look for a deny. Will it come out? No, it's not. Wisp gets the last hit. Now Moob sitting on 600 gold on top of that, and that's going to be your boots for the Wisp. Central ultimate's deployed. I'm not sure what for. Yeah, that was another peculiar center ultimate. We saw one of those last game. They weren't really going anywhere.
Yeah, I have no idea what this
Bartlett,
was this time. They're going to find Bartlett regardless. So, Stampede was used, and it got a kill eventually. So, I guess it was all good.
I suppose so. I don't know. The Witch Doctor just found himself in a really awkward spot. Witch Doctor doesn't have much HP to begin with, and when you get an Ancient Seal as well as a level 3 double edge in your face, you're going to fall. Yeah. Phantom Assassin continues to farm away. Aquila on the PA isn't going to be going for anything huge just yet, just for the cost-effective stat items that we saw from the Medusa last game, at least for now. And, I don't know, as far as the farm on both of these carries is concerned, it's pretty much identical.
So Noob or us, he's actually sitting at almost maxed out agility. He actually just strength morphed a little bit, but he was going for a full-on damage build. His Tunel up on top is going to be dove very far. Fish is going to be turned around onto Jubilu, but once again, it's on the wrong side. They're going to throw the cast and the Sprout, and, well, the Sprout is going to be eaten through regardless, so Jubilu is going to get some free regeneration on that. Noobs or Us is here, has a waveform. They're going to commit a whole bunch of heroes to kill Jubilu, and they will get it. It's going to be the Morphling to take out the Centaur, but it's a lot of heroes wasting a lot of time to kill one hero. I don't really know if that's worth it. As good as killing Centaur is, slowing down the Blink Dagger, still the problem is on the bottom lane, where Wisp and Phantom Assassin are soon going to start relocating out. And then at that point, if you do try to go for that Centaur kill again, you're going to be facing up against a much, much worse fight.
Yep. We do have the Phantom Assassin with level 7. Wisp is not yet level 6, just barely, however. It's going to take a little bit of experience in mid in order to fix that, and we're about to hit critical mass for THD. The Blink Dagger's not going to come up as fast for the Centaur as I thought it would, since he backed off for the Orb of Venom as well as Tranquils first, and then died once. He is going to go pretty aggressive up against Ryanoob. With the slow, Medusa can't really do much about this, and the double edge comes through, probably damaging Jubilee more than it does the Medusa. Invis rune spawns top for the Witch Doctor, and he's going to sit on this potentially for the Morphling. It looks like they're just going to give this away if Noobs are us. Potentially bottle Bartlett up first, and there you go. Yeah, they'll find themselves that top rune as the bottom one is secured by the other team. Yeah, Storm Spirit is working towards his Orchid after the power treads. Does have one robe available, and that's about it. As up on top, we might see some action. No, it's just double edge thrown up by the Centaur. Nobody else is near. There's a Fisher potentially looking at mid 2. Nerla is not going to throw it up as the Wisp is too far back and now has his level 6.
Unfortunately, Noobs didn't decide to use the Invis rune to try to kill off this Wisp. I think if he did do that and had the Earthshaker rotate in as well, then killing off the Wisp before level 6 could have happened, even though it wouldn't have been the biggest kill in the world. It's helpful and all, slowing down level 6, but it would have slowed it down by just like a minute tops, and that's not really relevant. So Tengen are just going to stay the course right now. They are even on kill score, which at this stage in time is really all that they could hope for. Again, as long as Medusa and Morphling are the ones farming, they should be happy. They are not farming the best, though. It's going to be Phantom Assassin on top as expected for net worth, and Storm Spirit not too far behind. So Tengen, again, they're just going to need to turtle this out for as long as humanly possible. And it's only a matter of time before the House is Down decide to make a play, because Wisp and Phantom Assassin, they're going to be going buddy-buddy down on the bottom lane, relocating out every which way. And then at that point, it's up to the Storm Spirit to call the shots. Ball lightning into that poor one sucker, and then relocate onto him as well, and just clean up from there. But it's actually going to be Tengen going on the offensive down on bot. They have an Earthshaker who's going to be blink struck, and the big crits are there. The Wisp is not going to hit with the Fisher, and now Tunurla, second awkward position, is going to go down. Unfortunately for the Earthshaker Morphling, a little bit too far away. Now in the area, but can't really do jack against these two.
Yeah, Phantom Assassin goes for the Claymore, presumably towards the Battle Fury, potentially Shadowblade. Although I don't think we'll see that build. It's probably just for the extra damage when she does get crits. Vestius gonna take a lot of damage for this Morphling. A high agility build is almost gonna kill him off. One more auto tech is all that they need. Vestius with the extra movement speed would be able to make it out. Jukes towards the Noobs, trying for the TP out the slow. They get the vision, one more right click, they don't find it. And now inside trees, Noobs Rest is stuck. He will be able to eat through it. Either way, Center Ultimate being deployed. Looking up for top, they won't be able to find the stun onto Ryanoob, and Ryanoob will survive. Ooh, that was very scary for Vestius there, but he does make it out alive.
Bottom lane, they're still looking for this Phantom Assassin. They didn't kill the Wisp. I don't know if they could have done anything else to get that kill. Maybe just use Waveform earlier so it cooled down earlier, but Bartlett's going to be in trouble over on the middle lane because here comes Storm Spirit. Ball lightning as well as the pullback, and Bartlett's going to go down. At the same time, bottom lane, Waveform is going to miss on the Phantom Assassin, and if that damage isn't there, now big crits turn the other way. Phantom Assassin jumps right back onto the Morphling, and Morphling didn't have a chance in hell. He just got annihilated. That's 2 more kills going the way of House is Down, and so far they have complete control of this game. That's pretty much what they drafted for.
Yeah, I did not expect Phantom Assassin to kill that Morphling, and I don't know, just one crit changes all of that. Morphling already a pretty aggressive build, working with 118 damage, but that doesn't matter if you get critted by this Phantom Assassin, and that Claymore is going to pay off pretty big there. Just allowing her to 100 to 0 the Morphling before any Strength Morph comes out. Is up in top lane. Ryanoob, he is going to be jumped on. They have a relocate coming in. It will probably secure this kill. Ryanoob completely tapped out of mana, and Io gets the last hit with the Wisp Orbs, and then back down to bottom. Phantom Assassin will be able to farm there and getting dangerously close to a Battle Fury. Despite not being able to utilize the Battle Fury as well as an anti-mage with the Wisp, she'll be able to farm pretty quickly, and then if you do get the cleave spill damage on heroes, it can be pretty ridiculous if you get a crit.
Yeah, and that could just, kill 2 people off at the exact same time, and she's already feeling very comfortable with her position in this game. This Phantom Assassin going strong onto the Morphling over on the bottom lane near the tier 2, knowing that teleportation support could happen at any time, but just using her muscles and forcing the Morphling to be scared, and that's something that Phantom Assassin can do. Again, as far as agility heroes that can fight early on and carry, Phantom Assassin's pretty decent. She's no Luna necessarily, she's no Gyrocopter, but she could certainly put the heat on early as they do stampede up on top lane. Once again, they're going to go for Ryanoob. This time the mana shield is going to hold for a little bit longer than last time as they only have 2 heroes, no relocate in, as Yuka's now completely out of mana, or almost completely out of mana. Now Railgun chasing him down, has a sprout, not going to use it just yet. Yuka going to try to hide in the trees, has a teleportation in 3, 2, 1, is going to ball ending out and TP. The stun has already been thrown by the Witch Doctor. Yuka is stunned, but they don't have vision. What's going on here? Someone get eyes on this guy.
Stunned, but no vision. They do get the sprout. Where was that, like, 10 seconds ago? Yuka's going to be caught out. They know he's there, and he can't do anything. He has auto attack on, trying to cancel that onto the sprout, but Bartlett's going to be jumped on by the Scarth Mage. The relocate comes in the backlines. They're going to bring down the Witch Doctor very quickly, or will they? The cast going to bounce to 2 heroes. Is the Stifling Dagger not going to be enough as Witch Doctor Voodoo Restoration keeps him alive? Now Skyrath incredibly low. They won't be able to go as ultimate away from the Storm Spirit, as well as to relocate back down towards bottom for the Phantom Assassin and Wisp. Nobody's going to die.
The Skyrath Mage, I believe, disjointed the Mystic Snake with a smoke. Unless my eyes were playing tricks on me, I believe that's what happened. But I'm actually really surprised that everyone from the House is Down managed to slip away. And really, that's a shortcoming of Tengen's lineup. They don't have a lot of early game damage. They couldn't get those kills. Everyone from the House is Down barely limping away. Now, that Tengen, they still get a tower off of this, so ultimately not the worst trade in the world for them, but they could have gotten so many kills if they were just, you know, a little bit more damage heavy.
Yeah, I think that's fair. If the Morphling was something else, not a Morphling, maybe, just maybe. Yeah, for now, the Phantom Assassin going to have that Battle Fury completed as soon as she gets the Ring of Health over at the side shop, or yeah, there you go. It is going to be sent to her, and now Phantom Assassin's farming speed as well as damage is going to go through the roof. She's not going to be the most survivable, but then again, really all you have to be worried about is that Witch Doctor Cask as well as Earthshaker Fissure, and if you can live through that and maybe get a little lifesteal, either through a Vlad's on your teammate or just by a Morbid Mask on yourself, I think she'll be able to tank through it pretty effectively, at least for this portion of the game. The physical damage bothers her none at all. 50% evasion might as well be 100%. As they jump on mid, they ultimately blow up that Morphling. With the Ancient Steel, as well as the Mystic Floor, Morphling stood not a chance if they get that silence off.
Now Centaur showing off his new Blink Dagger. Yuka gonna try to go for this Witch Doctor. Had some trouble last time, but here comes the support. Phantom Assassin and Wisp going to quickly annihilate the Witch Doctor, and he will go down after throwing the cask. Another 2 kills going the way of the House is Down. And this is really what they want to do. They have the Storm Spirit to spot out, start the fights, relocate in. The Jubilee can do that as well with his new Blink Dagger, and he's already shown that off and gotten the kill on the Morphling. So pretty much everything that in this game is going the way of the House is Down. They have the advantage in both Golden Experience. They have the advantage in the mid game. And even though they don't have an advantage late, it's not too relevant because the Morphling and Medusa are being shut down by so much. There's phase boot drums on this Medusa and power tread on the Morphling. This guy is going to be pretty useless moving forward.
Yeah, especially when you have an Orchid that's getting dangerously close, or a Storm Spirit that's getting dangerously close to his Orchid. I think I had that flipped. But either way, getting very close, only about 400 gold away. Yuka's going to be dropped pretty low. Do a couple of split shots from the Medusa as well as a Mystic Stake. But Yuka going to go aggressively, pulls back the Medusa. This is pretty dangerous. They do have the Mystic Flare to drop on top to Ryanoob. He is going to be pretty tanky with the Mana Shield going full on. And now with the Witch Doctor Cask and Ultimate, it's going to go back and forth to Jubilee as well as Yuka. Yuka going to survive. He only has a little bit more mana to zip away. Will it be enough to keep him alive? I don't think so. The right click from the Witch Doctor, they don't have any lockdown as the Earthshaker doesn't have another stun. Now silenced up. It will secure the retreat. Cask from long range. Yuka's caught out inside the trees. TP from Nature's Prophet. Fissure going to block him off. Although doesn't get the damage off. Zips out towards the north. Yuka's still surviving a little bit as the crits on the back line blow up the Nature's Prophet. Storm Spirit is going to die, but Phantom Assassin comes away to kill Richer. Still not that bad for THD, and if they find themselves a Medusa or maybe a Bartlett, it could be huge, but they won't do so. They do have a relocate if they need to use it, but the Blink Strike from long range, Ryanoob completely out of mana. If he gets crit, he will fall. They are going to put some damage to Nurla as he is going to just TP out. They bring back the Morphling in reserve. That's going to force back Vestius as well as Moob. But still, just flexing those muscles, there's very little they can do. The Cask is going to bounce only once, and Moob's going to survive. Despite the Wisp being isolated, he'll be able to tether back towards the left. There's nothing else to chase them down. The Nature's Prophet TP's in, looking for the Sprout, finds it on the Vestius. Center ultimate going to be deployed. They eat through the trees, but Vestius still might fall. They just don't have enough damage, and the Wisp survives on the back lines. 4 heroes are here, and they don't have the center, but they jump straight onto Noob's Arrest, and he'll be blown apart. Crit onto Bartlett. There's going to be another Stifling Dagger. Zip zap in from Storm Spirit. He wants revenge. His Railgun pops a Blade Mail. It is going to keep him off him, or will it? They are going to relocate on the back lines. That's a double kill for Leposa, and now Ryanoob caught out in the river without a paddle, and he will be dropped. 4 kills going the way of THD. They lose nothing.
This is what happens when you pick up a Medusa second pick. You're stuck with a hero that pretty much does nothing until she gets a big item up, and that's really a problem for Tengen. The Medusa's doing nothing. The Morphling's doing nothing. Witch Doctor, Earthshaker can only stun so many heroes. They have cooldowns to work with, and they have mana constraints. They can't really do everything for their team, and Nature's Prophet, his Sprout is being pretty useless as well. There's a Quelling Blade for the Phantom Assassin. They've had Tangos for a good portion of this game, and now they're going to try to mount a defense up on top lane. Yuka has managed to slip his way out of most of these situations, but this one I'm not too sure about. Railgun's going to TP, and Yuka going to try to kill off Tunerla. He will not get it, as the Echo Slam is going to be committed. Will kill off the Storm Spirit, a much needed kill for Tengen, but forced to use an ultimate in that situation. And Tengen, again, they just need more time, but as long as the House is Down keep playing like this, keep up this constant stream of pressure, then Medusa's going to be an irrelevant hero, whereas Phantom Assassin is hitting very, very hard with the Battle Theory plus the coup de grace. So PA is being an absolute juggernaut in this game, combined with the fact that everyone else on our team is doing the exact same thing.
It's going to be a BKB for Phantom Assassin, and now even the Paralyzing Cask and Fissures don't phase her. In the meantime, during all of that, they won that fight 4v5, and they won it 0-4 in the kills. The tier 2 tower was taken by the Centaur in the meantime. I was wondering where he was, and that is what he was doing throughout all of that. Despite losing his Storm Spirit after the fact, which did give away quite a large amount of gold to the enemy team, because he was on the team that's ahead, and he has a decent amount of farm as well. Still doesn't matter. Phantom Assassin has 2 major components to the BKB. Although BKB is not completed yet, it's only 1 more creep wave away, and then Moob will have that. And with the BKB, this Phantom Assassin fears nothing that Tengen are bringing. No MKBs, not even a hope of an MKB for another 20 minutes, and yeah, they just don't have any way to deal with this PA.
And even if she didn't have a BKB, Tengen have very, very limited magical bursts. They have, like, Waveform, Fissure, maybe an Echo Slam that'll land, but other than that, Phantom Assassin doesn't really have to worry about late game physical damage until Ryan Noob and or Morphling pick up an MKB, and that's a very, very long ways away. He doesn't have to worry about magical damage, and any sustained damage that she receives is going to be healed up by the Wisp. Tengen, they are going to go for Roshan. This is something that they desperately, desperately need to take. They need any sort of advantage that they can take right now, and Roshan is going to be one that House Down are going to be most unlikely to check and unlikely to contest. And with the amount of damage they have, the Treants summoned up, they will be able to kill Roshan without being punished. So a nice little win for Tengen, although it's definitely not going to be enough to put them into a great position, because 22 minutes into the game, they're 10k gold down and 7,500 experience down. That's a huge deficit at this stage in the game.
It really is. Phantom Assassin tags one with Stifling Dagger, and it crits on the Noob's RS. That one crit almost chunks the Morphling down to half health. Yeah, just not a happy place to be in. Mechanism completed on the Wisp, but a pretty decent time for a support Wisp. That double heal is now going to make move in even larger threatened teamfights as they relocate where?
Radiant's mid tower, could use a
Bottom lane for Railgun.
Yeah,
and
there you
at
go.
the same time, Tunerla is going to run straight into Leposa. Will survive a little bit longer, but Leposa, with the magic damage, is going to turn this around and kill the Earthshaker. And now with the haste rune trying to get away, teleportation from behind the tree, and Noobs R Us has no vision. Even if he did, wouldn't be able to get that kill regardless. Another 2 kills going the way the House is down. I mean, I can understand the Phantom Assassin and Wisp getting the kill, but solo Skywrath Mage, the haste rune, that's not supposed to be getting kills right now. That's just not the way the game works, and he's actually very farmed. He's going for a Rod of Atos. He'll be able to get those solo kills consistently from here on, well, once he gets his Rod of Atos, of course.
Yeah. And even if it is a Lincoln Sphere for the Morphling, which it will be, that Atos is going to maintain relevant, even though it's usually not seen as much. As these heroes probably aren't going to get BKB for quite some time, as the Witch Doctor getting caught up by the Storm Spirit. The pickoff potential that THD have is huge, and it's not going to get any easier for Tengen to find farm around this map. Center ultimate being used, they will find Noob's RS. The double edge almost brings him down. The right clicks will follow. That's the Aegis down for the Morphling, and I think he might die a second time. Jubilu's pretty low. The TP in from Railgun as well as the Blade Mail will keep it alive, but this ultimate from the Skywrath Mage blows up the Morphling, and now Railgun is probably not going to survive. Blink Strike from Mubin crits him down. That's going to be another 3 easy kills for THD.
This feels like it's all over. Like, I can understand if Tengen want to stay in this because they do have such great late game heroes. If by some miracle they take more fights, they could conceivably maybe make a comeback. Ryan Noob is going to dodge a hoof stomp down on bottom lane after taking down a tier 1 tower. Again, a very narrow victory for Tengen, but right now the House is down. this is pretty much their lineup playing in its comfort zone. They're moving all around the map. They're getting kills wherever they go. Tengen, they just have to get out of House of Down's way, and if they don't, they're just going to die. We've seen that so many times. Just House of Down, one hero running into some random Tengen hero, and then if the random Tengen hero survives that first encounter, then there's going to be Phantom Assassins and Blinking Centaurs and Storm Spirits chasing. It's not good times for Tengen, and aside from just turtling out, I don't know what they could do. Ordinarily, you would say go for a smoke gank, try to pick off the PA, pick off the Storm Spirit, catch them off guard, but if they do smoke up, what could they do with that? Like, Fissure isn't going to be enough, Witch Doctor can't get kills by himself. Smoke ganks are pretty much off the table for Tengen.
Yeah, more or less. And we're about to see the next big item for the Phantom Assassin. Whatever it is, it's going to be scary. If it's a Satanic, they're already having a hard time killing her. There's no way that they're killing her with that item on. And if she goes for damage, maybe just pick up a straight MKB. If she gets one crit, the enemy heroes are going to die. I'd love to see a Vladimir's offering on the IO, although it's going to be quite a long time in coming after going for the Mech Arcane Boots, Urn of Shadows, as well as some intermediate items. Yeah, eventually Lifesteal is going to come out for this P. I'm not sure it actually matters what she gets. No matter what it is, her killing potential is still going to be through the roof, and she's still going to be a pain to deal with. We do have a smoke up and top from Yuka as well as Leposa, potentially looking for the Medusa. They might be able to silence her so she doesn't get the Stone Gaze off. She's still pretty tanky with maxed out Mana Shield. It's not enough to keep Ryanoob safe. Ooh. Is Mike Loris still with me?
Yeah, my mic just... Yeah, okay, we're good. This is level 2, Skywrath Mage Ultimate, and that's something that we saw Medusa survive in the last game. The situation here is a lot different. Storm Spirit adding some physical damage and adding that additional Orchid amplification means that even if Medusa is able to survive throughout the first burst of damage from the Mystic Flare, the Orchid is almost certainly going to take her out. So Ryanoob is in a really bad situation right now. It doesn't have any vision, and it's smoked up regardless. So I don't think this Observer Ward in lane saw them. If it did, maybe he's going to survive. He just straight TPs out right now, but he can't even do that because it's 13 seconds off of that. So I'm pretty sure Medusa is just screwed. As soon as she shows her face, as soon as the smoke is revealed, then it's going to be a jump down to Ryanoob. And here we go. Orchid is there, and the pullback Mystic Flare. No Mystic Flare. Okay, they're just going to do this the old-fashioned way. There's the Mystic Flare. Waited until the worst possible time. Now Rhino's just going to try to TP out, but the crits are there. Okay, that was not exactly how it was supposed to go, but it went fine in the end.
It worked. It would have been a lot cleaner if they just dropped the Mystic Flare when she was being pulled back with the Ancient Seal as well as the Orchid on her, and that probably would have killed her straight up. But yeah, let's see, who did they secure the kill for? It is Io that gets the kill, kind of unfortunate. Would have been better if the Phantom Assassin got it, but still, it's a Medusa dying, and this Medusa is never going to be relevant. I don't know, unless this, by some miracle, goes to 70 minutes in, she's able to complete 2 items. Bar that, there's just not a safe place on this map. It's kind of the problem you go with when you have a Wisp on the enemy team. Their deep wards really aren't that great, but if they had them, even her own jungle is not safe.
And I think it's about time for the House of Down to think about picking up a gem, put it on the Centaur or the Phantom Assassin, 2 heroes that are very unlikely to go down, and then just maintain complete map dominance. They have a couple of Observer Wards, not as aggressively placed as I think they could get away with, so getting that would be really nice to just secure the map control with the ward advantage plus the mobility advantage. It should be just the entire map on lockdown. Tengen won't be able to go anywhere without Houses Down heroes knowing about it and then probably jumping on you. So it's actually going to be Noobs R Us who's going to waveform in. He's going to go very quickly with the Haste Rune. Now going to try to go for the Skywrath Mage. Forstaff going to get him a little bit of distance, but Noobs R Us still chasing. Has another waveform cool down. He's going to try to dodge a Hoof Stomp. He get hit with the Hoof Stomp. Double edge as well. 9 Magic Amplification. Noobs R Us. One more hit and it's going to be enough as Moob comes in from the side. Oh man, I don't really know what he's trying to do. Now Ryanoob over on mid lane, gonna get silenced up. Here comes the relocate. The Orchid is already used. Ryanoob not taking that much damage, and the Death Ward is being channeled by Bartlett. Echo Slam being used as well. Vessi is taking the brunt of that. Him and Leposa waiting for more time, waiting for more support. Jump in from Jubilu. Gonna get another 2-man stomp now. Moob popping the BKB. Gonna try to go for Railgun. He's gonna get himself in a sprout and moves now in an awkward position where he can't actually move anywhere. Will blink up to Jubilu, but that's not gonna help him escape. So with another Fissure blocking him off with Posa. Gonna drop a Mystic Flare onto Tunerla, and it will be enough damage to kill him off as Moob is still alive, still in the area. Ryanoob got TP out of this. It's not gonna happen. The Hoof Stomp is there. The crits gonna be pretty big to chunk down Ryanoob, but the magic damage is the magic shield is gonna take most of it. Bartlett over on the top side is gonna hit with double edge. He will go down as Ryanoob now completely out of mana is gonna man fight against Moob. Big 1000 crit is going to kill him off. only the Nature's Prophet is going to survive, and after all of that, Tengen only take 1 kill. This feels like this game might be coming to a very early end. Tengen, they can't get anything going.
Yeah. And the Wisp was going to die regardless. They dropped everything for that Wisp. Echo Slam was used on the sidelines, did very little to nothing. And, I don't know, the Wisp ate the brunt of a Witch Doctor ultimate and still survived for long enough to where Moob just didn't have a care in the world. He used his BKB, but now it's 6,000 gold. It's going to be a butterfly coming out from Moob. Excuse me. Yeah, this item is going to make the evasion even more, even a large. Oh my goodness, I can't speak.
It's
Whatever.
broken. It's so broken.
It really is. It's going to be a Phantom Assassin that can jump into the enemy well without having to fear anything. His railgun down the bottom gets crit. He does have the blade mail, but it doesn't actually matter. They have enough damage, or do they? Yeah, they do. It is going to be a death on your Nature's Prophet. Yeah, Phantom Assassin is going to be, for all intents and purposes, untouchable.
Yeah, so Tengen, at this point, it's like you either have an MKB or you have lots of magical burst and initiation. We already covered the fact that they don't have MKBs, obviously. They're trying to scrap together Lincoln spheres at this stage of the game, so MKB is still a very distant dream for all the Tengen heroes. They have nowhere close to the amount of magical burst they need to kill out the Phantom Assassin. Even if they did, BKB is going to keep Moob safe for most of that, so she's going to be pretty invulnerable to the right-click damage of Tengen, and if you can't hit the Phantom Assassin with that, then how the hell are you going to kill her off? And then after you do kill her off, how the hell are you going to kill everyone else off? Because if you're spending all that time killing off the PA, who's dodging, like, what, 50% and then 35? I want to say it's like 60-ish, 70-ish% evasion. Focusing her down is going to take a very long time, and the rest of the houses down is going to be killing you all the while. They're going to go for top lane. Ryan Noob's gonna get silenced. There's the Mystic Flare combination, and Ryan Noob is gonna go down. There you go. Now Yuka gonna get stunned up. Relocation gonna come in. Noobs are us. Gonna get blinked upon, and the damage should be enough. Yes, it is with the 1300 crit. Here comes teleportation in from Railgun. Gonna try to kill off Jubilu off into the corner. Will summon some treants to get some vision, but the rest of the house is down right behind Jubilu. Hoof Stomp is there, and the Centaur unfortunately will go down, but it's gonna be more cleanup for the houses down. They just take everything. They're going to jump for more. Yuka looking for Bartlett. Doesn't have any more mana to continue the chase. Unfortunately, overshot by just a little bit too much.
Yeah, Phantom Assassin did not get a crit throughout the later portions of that fight, and then instantly crits a creep afterwards. I don't know, probably due to pseudo-random chance, but either way. Moob still has plenty of damage in order to do that. It's probably the best fight that Tengen have had in the longest of times, but even then, they lose all 3 of their cores, and it's only for a Centaur and a Scarith Mage. Even if this game was going... Oh, yeah, it's just not great. It's really not great. Let's see, Tier 2 tower up top is going to be the next thing to fall on the side of Tengen, and this Phantom Assassin is already sitting on another 2,000 gold on top of the Helm of Dominator and Butterfly that she pretty much just one-shot bought. She could have gone for anything in this store, almost literally.
Yeah, I think it's like she could buy anything she wants, and she could get away with anything she wants as well. Like, a sheep stick would be actually really freaking good on the Phantom Assassin. You could jump in and instantly kill off anyone. Speaking of going for railgun, a sheep stick would have solved that problem. You can't teleport when you're sheep, so I mean, it's not exactly a Basher or Abyssal Blade, which is a little bit more conventional as far as locking people down, but Phantom Assassin has the luxury of being able to go for literally any item she could possibly want. She could go for a Null Talisman and be happy with it if she really wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not great. Phantom Assassin here at this juncture, I would say probably doesn't need the Scythe of Vice, as she has all of the mana she could want with the Wisp partnering up. So I think just bash her into Abyssal is your best bet, and you'll get to see a lot flashier crits. Honestly, Divine Rapier is not out of the question. With the items she has, I don't think she's gonna die unless she runs into the enemy well and stops right-clicking.
Yeah, and that would require Moob to like have a stroke or something, and I don't know, that doesn't seem like a good strategy to me. I haven't tried it, but I'm not going to either. They're going to catch Bartlett off to the side. Mystic Flare after a stomp. It's just not good times for Tengen at all. They cannot go anywhere without being spotted. They know now that the house is down, have this very aggressively placed Observer Ward, and, you know, they might be able to deward it, but it's not going to be the safest deward. You're going to have to worry about everyone jumping in, because Centaur's just camping this ward.
And rightfully so, he has relocate support, so if anybody shows their face to deward it, they're going to die. It's going to time out pretty soon, but Medusa might just fall here. Rhinoob should know there's a ward giving vision through a good portion of that area. He's going to avoid being caught out, I think. I don't know, he might have shown on the very edge, but I think he's safe.
So, Moob has a Sacred Relic, and there are only a couple items a Sacred Relic builds into. Oh, Rhinoob, don't show your face to this Phantom Assassin. That's not good times. Phantom Assassin's feeling merciful. She let the Medusa walk away, but Jubilu maybe not as much as him, as well as the Post Scarth Mage are going to be jumping onto, once again, Bartlett. All he wants to do is deward. That's literally all he wants to do with his life, but he can't get that either. Teleportation in from Railgun, going to try to go for Jubilu. Instantly, this Nature Prophet gets silenced. Jubilu's taking pretty much no damage. Now the relocation in. Phantom Assassin's about to go nuts on someone. I think that unlucky, yeah, it's going to be Rhinoob. Instantly, the Mantis-style illusions are going to get blown up in the cleave, and the GG is called. Noobs R Us is going to be focused down. Double crits from Moob. At the same time, the back end looks like Centaur didn't even die. He turned things around on the Nature Prophet. Now the Hex onto Tunurla. That's going to be... Oh, Tunurla surviving. The lone survivor of the dire side, but the Ancient blows up.
Yeah, I think a lot of that game had to do with the draft coming out from Tengen. I didn't like it. It allowed the houses down to have a free-for-all in that game, and the Phantom Assassin, I would have loved to see what she's building with that Sacred Relic. I'm not sure it actually matters, and in the end it doesn't, as they get the game victory. I'm not sure if he can stick around for much more, but we will have a game number 3. This is a best-of-3 series in the quarterfinal of the Join Dota League Season 3. I've been Grandis V, he's been Mike Lores, and we're here at HeflaTV, so hope to see you back here for game number 3.